Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Dinkar and I welcome all of you in this session. I hope everybody is doing great, feeling healthy and fine. So once again, welcome to the RBI Grade B top news coverage. And as you all know that every week we are coming with these top news, especially to bring out the very important concepts which are there in the news to discuss with each and every one of you. So again, we have come up with some of the very important news with all of you. We'll be sharing the important news that is called sticky inflation, the concept of sticky inflation that we are going to study today. So once again, I welcome each and every one of you in this session and thank you for joining the session. So before starting of the session, if I know how many people are there in the session, then it will be very good for me. May I know how many people are there in the session? May I know how many people are there in the session? They can just tell me, they can just say hi, hello to me in the chat box. Okay, so let's start with our session right away. So this is RBI Grade B top news coverages, and today we'll be discussing regarding the sticky inflation. So first of all, we will be understanding what is the meaning of inflation altogether. So before knowing like what is the meaning of inflation, we should know and we should go by this clipping that RBI has shared with each and every one of you. Hello Discovery Science, welcome to the session. So this is the main graph that RBI has shared with each and every one of us. Okay, so it shows that the inflation has remained above the range. That means if we go by January 2019 to September 2022, the inflation always remain above the 4.4%, above 4%, right? 4% is the healthy range. 4% is the healthy range that we have taken, and we know that RBI has put a range of inflation from 2 to 6%. 6% is the highest limit and 2% is the low limit, and at least we have to maintain 4%, that is called downcoming. But in the near future, like from January, like if we go by February, March, or like that, we see this whole part is always remaining above 4%. Okay, and in September it has touched 7.4%. That is one of the highest inflation range that we are there. Okay, now what is inflation? Whenever we say inflation, inflation mean महंगाई का मतलब क्या होता है? Price बढ़ना. Okay, inflation is called as the sustained increase in the general price levels of goods and services. General price मतलब when there is general price level in mostly all of the goods, mostly all of the goods. It is not like that only onion price is going high, then we can call this inflation is there. No, onion, tomato, services, clothes, barber facilities, your cars and everything. If the general range, general price level of normally all the goods and services are high over a period of time, then we call it as inflation. Okay, most of the goods and service that are of daily use such as food, clothing, house, recreation, transport, consumer and various other things are there, right? So this is the average price change that has happened in the basket of commodity. अब जैसे एक basket of commodity में 100 goods हैं and they are costing you 1000 rupees. Then after 1 year the same 100 goods are there and they are costing you 1100 rupees, right? So there is a general price level of rupees 100 that has gone high between January, we go by January this year to the January next year, right? So basket of good remains same and we are just finding out like what is the price that were there last year and what is present year, whether there is a change in the prices that has happened and how much change in the prices that has happened. That is called inflation, right? Now what causes inflation? Various things are there which causes cost pull inflations are there and demand pull. Cost means whenever the input cost goes high. अब जैसे कोई चीज आप मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हैं, जैसे यू आर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अ टेबल, okay, if the prices of the woods go high, automatically the price of the table will go high. If you are buying a car, if the price of iron, if the price of steel, if the prices of paints goes high, automatically the price of car will also go high, right? Then we have a demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation में ये होता है कि demand is very high but supply is not that much. अब there is a demand of 10 cars, supply is of 2 cars, so the price of the 2 cars will become very high because more and more people wanted that car, so they are ready to pay extra money for that. So this is called when demands of goods increases exceeds the production capacity. Production कम है, demand ज़्यादा है, right? So this is the two type of ways in which the inflation goes ups and down in the economy. Now, why we are talking about the sticky inflation? You please remember that the topic is on sticky inflation. There is a report that has been shared by National Statistical Office that the retail inflation this year, January 2023, was 6.5%. 6.5% is above 6%, which is the range that has been set up by the RBI, right? So this has remained very high even after repeated repo increase. Okay, so retail inflation. Retail inflation also is measured by consumer price index. Okay, this is called CPI based inflation. Retail inflation is the main thing in which consumers are apparels, transportation, education, communication, goods and services, recreation, medical care, food and beverage. So these are the things which are of day-to-day uses. If the prices of these things goes high a little bit, if the prices of these things goes high, automatically the inflation also goes increase and it erodes the value of the money for the people. So retail inflation goes high, that means CPI inflation is high. The purpose of the consumer price index is to monitor the retail inflation regarding the particular commodity. Okay, and they check for rural area, urban area, all India level. If we go by January data, Telangana was the highest inflation of 8.6%. It was having highest inflation of 8.6%. Now, what is the causes that has happened for this spike in the inflation? Because first of all, high food inflation was there because consumer price index maximally contribute the high in that. Okay, cereal price got surged because wheat price got very high because Russia Ukraine war was going on. Because of that, the country, the overall international prices of the cereals, international prices of milk, spices, eggs, and various other things are on the higher side. Okay, core inflation remains at 6.1% in December. Anybody knows what is the meaning of core inflation? Core inflation is the inflation by all items minus food plus fuel. कोर इन्फ्लेशन का मतलब होता है कि जब हम ऑल आइटम्स से फूड एंड फ्यूल्स के प्राइसेस को हटा दें. When we remove the food and fuel prices from the all items, we get a core inflation. Core inflation was very high. That means there is a sustained price in the various commodities. Okay. So what RBI do? RBI utilizes monetary policy measure. RBI increases the repo rates. RBI increases the repo rates in order to lower down the demand. Okay, by RBI increases the repo rate so that high interest rate is passed on to the people. Once high risks are passed on, people will be less likely to buy the things, and automatically inflation will come under the control, right? So since last various monetary policy meetings are going on, every time they are increasing the interest rate in order to sustain the inflation, right? So RBI is increasing the repo rate. In February also, they have increased the repo rate by 25 basis point, and right now the interest rate is 6.5%. The purpose is only to fight the inflation. Okay. So when RBI is keep on increasing the interest rate to lower down and to make the loan costlier, so that demand will come less, and once the demand come less, automatically the prices of the goods will fall down and inflation will come under the control. But it is not happening. It is not happening. Why? Because this time the inflation is sticky. The inflation is sticky means that the inflation is persistently high despite we are raising the interest rate. Despite RBI raising the interest rate, inflation is still high. That is called sticky inflation. This is the concept of inflation. Okay. So sticky inflation being inflation is taking longer than expected to fall. अब जैसे in February we have increased the repo rate by 25 basis point. So within 15 days it should show their effects, but no effect is being shown. Inflation is still high. That means inflation is taking longer than expected to fall, which we are expecting. It is taking longer than expected to fall. That is called sticky inflation. So sticky inflation is an undesirable economic situation where the inflation is stubbornly very high, and often it is also stagnating growth. Normally it happens because of the higher food and fuel prices, which have gone deeper into the economy, because food and fuel, these are the fuel for the economy. Wherever you go, whatever is going on, everywhere food and fuel is required. So higher food price and higher fuel price have gone deeper into the economy. So it is not getting easy for coming down of the inflation. So sticky inflation is always related to your cost, normally often related to cost push factor. Cost is becoming higher, cost is getting transferred to the various subjects. Okay, because of that inflation is rising, right? Now sometimes sticky inflation is also called as stagflation. Stagflation means rising prices but stagnating growth, right? So this situation is not new to the world. It is expected in 1970. It has been already experienced in 1970s in the UK. Oil prices are higher. Even they are trying to increase the interest rate, but still the inflation is not coming down. 2008, everybody know the financial crisis. The inflation was very high, and even after increasing the interest rate, the inflation was not falling. Okay. So higher food and fuel prices have a spiraling impact on the broader economy. ये फूड और फ्यूल प्राइसेस इकोनॉमी के हर कॉर्नर्स में चले जाते हैं. You will not see the effect immediately, but in the later stage. So we are able to see that right now. Still, the RBI is raising the interest rate. RBI is raising the interest rate, but the prices of the goods are not going down, because they have gone deeper into the economy, right? So India is not the only country where this sticky inflation concept is there. Many US countries, Eurozone countries, they are all struggling to come out of the sticky inflation criteria, right? Now, why inflation remains so high? Why inflation remains so high? Whether it is manufacturing, either it is service, they are all hit by the higher input cost. Input cost बहुत high हो गई. So even after you are raising the interest rate, the manufacturer or the service person have to recover their cost. So they are not lowering the prices. They are not lowering their prices of the good. They are keeping same as it is. Okay. So the process is still being not the prices, the lower prices are not being transmitted. Okay. So they are hit by the higher input costs and which are still in the process of being transmitted. Lower cost they are not transmitting. So that is why it remains sticky. And we all know that in our CPI basket, consumer price index basket, clothing, footwears, personal care and effects, healthcare, household goods, service, they are the maximum part they are having. They have the significant weights. And these only products are having high rates. So because of that, even after RBI is reducing the increasing, even after the RBI is increasing the interest rate, the inflation is not coming down, and still it is coming under the criteria of sticky inflation. What causing India's inflation to persist? अभी persist कैसे कर रहा है? Obviously, rising food and fuel prices they have gradually spread and become more widespread. Obviously, there is अभी despite there is a weak demand is there. Limited pricing power is there. But the problem is input cost pressure were very unprecedented. Whatever has happened previously, because of that, people are keeping all the prices at a higher range. Even Russia-Ukraine war is going on, but the war conflicts are getting diminishing. Even the domestic economies are recovering, right? But the input transfer of the cost are happening, but these input costs are higher because during the last 1 year the prices remains very high because of war and because of all various other things. So right now these input costs are being transferred to the consumer. So that is why even after providing all the benefit to the people, the prices of the goods are not coming down because everybody wanted to recover their money, right? So if we take the best example of the sticky price, we say if the tomato price goes down, if the tomato price goes down, maybe the manufacturer will not lower the prices of the sauce, okay, because he would simply take the greater margin as profit. एक तो प्रॉफिट का भी कॉन्सेप्ट है कि ओके द प्राइसेस हैज गॉन डाउन, still I will not reduces the prices of my goods because I wanted to take the greater margin on my profit. Why? Say if earlier I was selling at 100 rupees, even if the cost of tomato goes like rupees 10 per kg, I will not reduce my bottle at rupees 90. I will keep my bottle at 900 only. I will keep my bottle at 100 only. So because of this thinking and because of this issue, this is leading to the sticky inflation thing. Inflation got stick. प्राइसेस कम भी होने के बाद भी आपका प्राइसेस आपको ज्यादा देने पड़े, राइट? सो मेनी ऑफ द आइटम्स आर जनरल एसेंशियल गुड्स आइटम like children clothing, repair cost, motor insurance, medical care, public transportation, communication, rent, all these things are there. Okay, various things are there, and because of that the prices of these goods are not decreasing. That is why the inflation is also not coming under control, right? So we are over with that. Now, how we measure our inflation in India? Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation measure the inflation in our country, right? So they measure under two categories: wholesale price index and consumer price index. और CPI inflation आता है when you go and buy from the retail shop, okay? And GDP deflator is also utilized for measuring the inflation. It's find out like how much inflation is affecting our GDP. Okay, how much extrapolated GDP we are having because of the inflation, right? Now, what are the ways through which we can control the inflation in our economy? What are the ways in which we can control the inflation in our economy? So let's see how many ways in which we can control the inflation in our economy. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy are government policy. Government policy. Government taxations, government subsidies, okay, through which a government can control the money supply, okay. Then comes monetary policy, which is directly under the control of RBI, okay. RBI can increase the repo rate, decrease the repo rate, reverse repo rate, margin standing facility, various type of tools are there with the RBI in order to control the inflation, right? So fiscal and monetary policy both has to work together in order to control the inflation in the market. Then proper supply of the public distribution system, proper supply of food items from PDS shops should happen in order to curb the inflation. Because if the people are getting the proper food at proper places, then automatically it will ease the prices. You know, in January, February and March, government has released extra wheat from central pool to ease the prices of the wheat, right? Similarly for rice, similarly for sugar, government is doing that. And whenever any rates are changing, so proper transmission of the prices should happen, immediate transfer of the prices should happen. It should not wait for longer time. If the proper transmission of a prices are happening at a proper time, then it will easily ease out the inflationary pressure, okay. Lot of Oliveboard regulatory exam courses are going on, and we have created our Telegram group. Please join that Telegram group. There you will get free resource material. Free resource material you will be getting over there. So link is there in the descriptive box. We have also created our regulatory app. You can go to the app store and you can download from there Oliveboard RBI Grade B SIDBI regulatory exam, that is there in the descriptive box. And we are running specialized courses on regulatory body. These are very good courses available at a nominal cost. Link is there in the descriptive box. Please do check it. Do check it. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for joining the session. Always remember, where there is a will, there is a way. So thank you so much for joining the session. Please, it's my request that if you are here, please like the session, because since all of you are here, let me see how what is the attendance over here. We have to just see like how much people are there, and attendance we can have over here. If you can just like the session so that I may know how many people were there in the present session. If anybody of you, if you all can like the session, thank you so much for joining the session, guys. It's really a great evening with all of you. I'll be coming with some more important concept topics, so thank you so much. Bye bye, take care and have a good day. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, I will be meeting with all of you with my PIB sessions. Okay, so thank you so much. Bye bye, take care and have a good day. Sorry, good night.